Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. So I knew today was going to be the show where we talk about how often to feed. And it seems like it's not a simple question. It's a complex question because there's no right answer, but there's a lot of wrong answers. But we have a pat stock answer to the question, and when people ask, we give them that answer, and I'll give you that answer. But let's just talk about that answer. Hold on one second. I want to go grab this. So we have our comprehensive feeding chart we've been working on, and what we do is these are the amounts we're using, and then this is the regimen, basically. So it's what you do on what day or what feeding, and it's feed microbial, feed T. We do 2 days of feeding, we do 1 microbial day, then we do 2 more days of feeding, and then we do a flush, a preventative flush. So pretty straightforward. People are like, well, how often do I do that? Well, it's not simple because we don't know if you water every day or if you water every other day or every 4 or 5 days. So you got to figure that out. So that's the main issue of this thing, is we know how much to feed. And then, I guess you could go where you do just water days. And some people do that. A lot of people do that. So you have a feed day, and then you have a day where you just do just water. So that puts a little bit of a monkey wrench into it. But the main thing is that you go feed T, feed flush. And you do that every time you would naturally water to keep your plant properly hydrated. So it's pretty straightforward, and you have to figure out how often you water, what fits your style, what fits your plant style. That's the stock answer. And that makes sense to me, I guess. But when a question keeps coming up again and again and again, it makes me think that maybe, and this is what I just thought of as I was sitting here, hold on a second, drinking my coffee, is that if the question keeps coming up again and again, maybe we don't need to discuss and analyze the answer. We need to analyze the question. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Is a lot of these things I found as I've gotten into this. I've been doing this the show for a little over a year, and I've been with these guys here at OCGFAM for over 2 years. And I was really new to gardening when I started this, but I've done a lot of other stuff, as all of us have, that getting a little up there in the years. And I always thought that if you want to learn how to do something, you go find an expert and you ask them how to do it. And that's not wrong. But things have changed a little bit with YouTube and the internet, where a lot of the people on there aren't experts. They're people like me that don't know a lot about it, but are just kind of sharing the journey together, where we go find out. But I found that has some value too, in just trying and doing and talking about it, because a lot of people that we would call experts, and probably everybody that we would call an expert, doesn't know the right answer. They may have an answer that's worked for them, and with anything there is science. There are immutable laws of physics, but the truth is that we don't know exactly what those laws are or how they work. We have a pretty good idea. We know a lot more than we did 100 years ago, and a lot more than we did 10 years ago, and a lot more than we did 1,000 years ago. But we still don't know. And that's the thing, is that how do we navigate that? And I think what we need to do is we need to work more together on this. We need to be thinking about these things. And the first thing I want to talk about, the first thing I want to work on, we're going to keep working on our comprehensive feeding schedule. But the thing I want to discuss with you and with experts and go into is right from the start. How often do you water? How much do you water? Because, I guess the rub of it is that you want to keep your plants, give them as much water as they need to drink. But if you give them too much water, or even if you give them just the right amount of water, they get a little happy and they don't keep looking and they don't keep growing roots. They don't keep growing. They stop, just like us, where we don't get information. When we stop looking for new information, stop testing our brains, we slow down, we stagnate, we start dying. And that's the same thing with our plants. And I know this is maybe getting a little philosophical, and it's a weird show. But, maybe tomorrow we'll go through that feeding thing in more in depth, because people wanted the answer to that as to how often you feed, and we'll do the answer we've got. But what I want to talk to you about today, and what I want to do going forward, I think, with this thing, because we were talking about how often we do the show, and I'm kind of rambling, I'm sorry, but let's dig into this, and let's start with the basics. We'll keep going on with the advanced stuff and what we're doing with the feeding chart, but let's talk about how often you water, how much you water, and how you keep your plant properly hydrated. I think that's really the key to all this, and maybe what water you use, how you condition that water, what you do with it, because it's not so much that we're growing a plant here as we're making a home for a plant. We're growing soil. We're making the soil. I've got a lot of different things I'm saying here and doing. I don't know if this makes any sense, but I've been sitting here just thinking, and I feel kind of reinvigorated about this whole process. I wasn't feeling down about it, but I'm feeling a little excited that we can do something here, something a little bigger than ourselves, something for the community, something for the ages. I don't know. It sounds silly when I say it out loud, but I hope we can kind of maybe work on this a little bit, see where it goes. So let's talk about that in the comments, and maybe y'all could email me if you want to send me a video, or you want to send me a longer form thing or something that we can talk about. Bob@Oregon'sConstantGardener.com, and let's do this thing. I'm going to preempt the show and just have it be this. Tomorrow we're going on a field trip. Friday we're talking to Scott, and then maybe we'll try to sandwich in a show where we talk a little more about how often you feed, because I promised you that. But I think this is a good thing. So let's talk. Let's talk in the comments. Let's talk in the email. Send me some videos too. Let's get a conversation going. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Field trip. We're going over to the Eugene store. For more information about anything on today's show, go to our website, OCGFAM.com. And if you buy anything while you're there, use the code FAMHARVEST. It's going to save you 20%, and it's a lot of fun. The OCG Fam Show, ooh, it's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow. We're going on a field trip.